the Hyundai, and I'm being very careful I say this because I know I don't enunciate well. I mumble. I get it. Hyundai Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Okay. So Hyundai, like Sunday, as Jill has taught me over the years. So Jill wrote this up because I've been kind of out of touch lately. I appreciate that. So, but I want to look at this. So this is the 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz.
Yep.
And what I always think is interesting, and I wish that if I critique myself, I wish I did a better job of this. I wish I would look back and say the 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Like, I'd love to see like differences. So you said the grill is bolder, and I'm looking at
it's a little bit more like upright.
Right. So if you go back, so I always love doing this. I have memory issues. I just do. And so I never can remember things that vividly, especially in a vehicle I've only driven, I think, once or twice. And so looking back on it, the one is a little bit narrower and more chromy. Is that a word? Chromy?
Well, so the picture, the primary picture, the red car, that is the that's the XRT model. So,
it's going to be
that's also going to be a little bit different than the like the Limited or any of the other trims. Okay. So that gets the blacked out treatment. I don't think any other trim gets the blacked out treatment.
So the grill is basically bolder because if you look at the hood on the 2024, it's much more narrower. It's like a smaller mouth. And
yeah,
the new
it's narrower, and plus it like this is more upright, so it's like more in your face. I think
a bigger, like I say, like a bigger mouth, a bigger smile or something, right? Okay, so we have that, and we talked about a bolder design, wireless CarPlay, Apple wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, which is Jill. You're welcome, I guess. Apparently, Hyundai saying to you because you have fought the fight on this one. I will say you're carrying the torch on this one. If you don't know, Jill's one of her complaints on a lot of vehicles, because I edit her vehicle videos as well, is that if you're doing wireless charging, why don't you do wireless CarPlay Android Auto?
Or if you're doing like you shouldn't have wireless charging if you're not going to have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. That's just stupid.
Right. You see them as being together. Like if you do wireless, you do wireless all the way through, not one or the other. And so, so we have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And then we have tool hooks.
So
tool hooks. Really, and I'm giving you this. Here you go.
I really think that some of the things that show up on the XRT trim are due to me and Kristen Shaw and what we did and experienced in the Rebelle Rally. And I think that these front recovery hooks or tow hooks are a primary example. Like, I don't think they ever would have put recovery hooks on the Santa Cruz had we not like requested them for our Rebelle truck and then used them and they worked.
Right. So I saw this, and I will tell you this. I read this one. I didn't read the other one we're going to talk about tonight. I just a variety of issues came up, but I read this and I saw the big photo of the tow hook. And I was like, yes, Jill, you get this one because you are probably spot on correct. If you guys don't know, I mean, Jill's on Rebelle Rally last couple of years with the Hyundai Santa Cruz, and she's given some feedback. And the feedback, I think, the feedback's been really spot on. And I think what people understand is that, I think people think that like Chevy and Hyundai and stuff have a teams of engineers who spend years in the dirt and that's all they do. No, they hire kids right out of college. They may have never been on dirt road in their entire lives, or they may have done pavement. So it's not that they just don't. They're companies. They don't always get this stuff, and it's not their fault. It's just they're hiring people. You're hiring employees. You're hiring staffers, and these engineers are probably brilliant. But
so the other thing that I think you need to keep in mind too is the Korean automakers. Off-roading and like overlanding and like this kind of thing is very foreign to them. And so like I really think that Rebelle was one of their first forays into trying to figure this stuff out. And I know they're also still really looking at aftermarket parts and things that they can, accessorize the vehicle with, like a bed rail system like we had on our truck, and skid plates. And, you know, the other thing that I think that Kristen and I definitely affected change for was they have better approach angles on this new truck. And because the XRT gets a different front bumper than the like limited and other truck trims do. So they're trying to make this more adventure ready. And, you know, I mean, it remains to be seen whether or not people will actually do the things that Kristen and I did in Rebelle. But I think that they have made this much more capable. And, you know, I can't wait to see it in person. I can't wait to drive it. I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, and you're spot on. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been at different events and I've talked about something. I always harken back to the story of the Ford Maverick and the engineers talking about that Ford Maverick. And I said, this great side-by-side competitor, and they did not know what a side-by-side was. So, I mean, it just happens. People get hired for jobs for a variety of reasons. We have a problem, though, on this. I just happened to notice on the right-hand side. We're saying monthly e-newsletter.
Yeah.
We need to fix that.
Weekly.
We're actually going bi-weekly. The forum has its own newsletter now I set up for Mondays. And so, whoops, we'll take care of that. We'll fix that. So, yeah, so there's tow hooks, or recovery hook, whatever, recovery points, tow hooks, whatever word you want to use for these things. XRT also includes front bumper and grill, wrench-inspired 18-inch wheels?
Wrench-inspired wheels.
Oh.
So the design on the wheels inspired by a wrench.
Okay.
You can't tell there, but yes.
No, I really can't tell.
There's more photos down at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, we have a photo gallery. Digital key, which you've talked about. You had a story earlier this week of the Hyundai digital key, and I'm going to give you the mic here in a minute, but I will tell you on the forum, there's a guy named Ben and Beta who has his own YouTube channel. And he's an Tesla owner, and he was talking about digital key and how he's using it for the Tacoma and how it didn't work great or whatever. And I did a chin rub and I did a head scratcher because I never thought about a digital key being useful. But you have made a very good argument for digital key as a runner.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. When I leave home, there is one thing and one thing only that I don't leave home without. And that is going to be my cell phone. I forget my wallet. I forget my keys. I forget my car keys. Like I have, I don't have them on me, but I have air tags on all of my things that will send me notifications. You have left without your wallet. You have left your home without your house keys. You have, and I'm just like, gosh darn it. But I never, like maybe once a year, I leave my home without my phone. I run with my phone. I take my phone to the gym with me. You know, I have Apple Pay set up on my phone. I have Kroger Pay set up on my phone so that like if I go to the gym and then I want to go grocery shopping and forgot my wallet, I can do that. So, and the previous iteration of digital key with Hyundai used to be a little bit clunky. So you would have to take your phone and like tap it to the door handle. So it needed near field communication in order for that to work. So you'd have to tap it, it would unlock it, and then you could open the door. And then you'd have to set your phone in the like the cradle or whatever, touching the near field technology chiclet in order for you to be able to start the car. So, but with this new digital key, it's actually really cool because you just put your phone in your pocket, your purse, wherever you would normally have it, and you walk up to the car and then you can unlock it and you get into the vehicle and you can start it. So it acts like a key fob. That means you have less things on your person. And, you know, and the Hyundai digital key works with your Apple Watch as well. So not other smartwatches, unfortunately, but it works with your Apple Watch. And so like I could forget my phone and have my Apple Watch and walk up and it would, you know, open the car and start the car. So to me, I just think this is effing brilliant because, you know, as a runner, like, I do take my phone with me in case of an emergency. I did break my foot on a run once. So, you know, you always want to be able to like call a cab if you need to. But again, like carrying fewer things, like I hate carrying my phone and a key fob. That like, you know, that just, so I have, and I don't know where it is, but I have like a running belt that I wear, and it just like bobbles up and down if you put too much stuff in it. So at any rate, I could wax poetic about the digital key, and I love the fact that they've made it less clunky and it's free.
Yeah,
that's the other big thing. It's free.
I think you wrote that it's free. Because you wrote free, yeah.
Free. And I guess there is a little bit of a caveat to that. It's free for first owners.
Right.
And as long as 4G LTE technology works.
Right. So I was on 5G here in Nebraska. So sorry, folks.
Yeah, but 5G and 4G, like they work together. So
I'm glad to get along because most technology doesn't. This is a Jill Ciminillo question. Kevin wants to know, does the new Santa Cruz have front and rear parking sensors? I test drove a 2004 fully loaded Santa Cruz. Didn't have parking sensors. Ended up buying a 2003 Jeep Cherokee because it had sensor.
They didn't mention sensors, so I don't know. But the loaded version of the Santa Cruz does have an around view camera. I'm trying to remember. There are certainly sensors on the Santa Cruz because I remember damaging said sensors and, you know, going over some kind of an off-road obstacle, and it like the car was like beeping at us. Like when we like I feel like one of the sensors popped out. And so as we're like driving, it would sense a car like here and think it was here, and it would like squawk at us. So I know at least the version of the vehicle that we drove had some kind of sensors, but I don't know if they were parking sensors, and they haven't mentioned whether or not sensors were included on the 2025 model.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and I another reason I would put the comment up is that I'm learning a lot from our forum and from you guys' comments and YouTube channel as well. You guys shop for things that are different than I think of. Like I do reviews. I gloss over some of the stuff, but I'm learning to be better about this because there are certain things. Parking sensors, 360-degree camera, for example. Ben and Beta is a big he's becoming a big camper kind of guy. He wants to go overlanding, and 360-degree camera is very important for him. And for me, I'm like, I just look out the window. I mean, it's nice, but I don't know. I love the fact that we get the feedback from you guys, the viewers, to kind of point out things that maybe I'd missed. Doug wants to know, he saw a video last week of thieves caught on camera stealing a car, BMW things. With a laptop, they hacked the digital key. With near field technology, I think it's almost impossible because you have to be so close.
Yeah, but the this is not that. This is not near field technology anymore. And you know, I mean, there's always going to be hackers who are hacking into things. There was a big thing with Dodge vehicles a few years ago where you could hack the key. And so like if you were near enough to somebody when they used their key fob to open the door, then you could capture that code. And then you would be able to use that code via computer to get into or recreate a key using that code. I don't know, honestly. Like I'm sure that there has to be anti-hacking things set up, but there's always gaps in technology, like the Kia boys, where they were stealing cars that were keyed. So the push button start, not the actual key fob one, but the actual where you had to turn your key in the ignition. Yeah, those were the ones that they were stealing because they could use like some kind of a USB like cord and like stick it in there, jam it in there, and I don't even understand what they were doing.
It was some kind of hack they figured out, and once they
but
put
it was
it
a
on
more
TikTok,
low tech hack.
It's totally low tech,
than that. And if you had a push button start, there was no worry. But they would have to break a window to get in to be able to hack the ignition. It's kind of like a modern day version of hot wiring your car.
You know, what's funny is I happened to watch Gone in 60 Seconds, the movie Nicolas Cage car movie, a couple days ago, just because I'm old and I rewatch old movies all the time. And they did that same hacking deal with the garage door code, with using a computer and a sensor system. That movie came out in 2000. 24 years ago.
A solution.
We've still been fighting. I don't say fighting. I'm say we're still concerned about these issues 24 years later. And I think automakers, I've seen some stuff where they change the code every so often. They do, things are happening. I mean, they're just trying to do more prevention. But thieves are thieves. Thieves will get what they want. There's a whole theory about like, right? It's almost like don't fight them back. Don't lock up your house like Fort Knox. Just you cause more damage. Don't lock it. Just let them take it because it's cheaper for them to just take it than it is to get all the damage repair work done. But
unless you're me, then fight like hell because that's what I do.
Right. Everybody's got a different opinion on it. That's what I was going to say. So interior wise, we have a digital, I would say a horizontal screen, right?
Yeah,
so
curved screen that kind of goes, and this is a new trend that we're seeing at Hyundai. The Santa Fe had this as well. Right. And it goes from behind the, it incorporates the gauge cluster as well as the center stack.
And yeah, I'm sorry, I'm pulling up the interior photo of the 2004, which does not have that. The screen is down below. It's lower than the dash. This one seems like it's kind of more linear line, I would say. So the driver's screen and the infotainment screen are more of a linear straight line versus before it was kind of below maybe the air vents and kind of integrated more in the center console. Would that be, I think it's an accurate way to say that. Yeah. Steering wheel is a little different too.
Yep. And you'll notice they've gone to the 4-dot logo on there, which in case you don't know, fun fact, the 4 dots that Hyundai has incorporated on the steering wheel, in Morse code, 4 dots is an H.
Oh, there you go. Is the shifter different? Am I seeing something? No, shifter the same.
So.
Okay, so shifter the same. So so infotainment screen is different. Okay. And this is I want to talk about this, and I don't want to. Well, I guess we tangent right now on this because we had a discussion on Facebook about this. I've been driving my wife's Trailblazer around this week, and the Trailblazer has a smaller screen, and it's got analog gauges with a very Atari-looking screen between the analog gauges. I mean, it's very basic technology, and there's an ongoing discussion right now whether or not we need these bigger screens. I'll be honest with you. I drove the Trailblazer around, and it doesn't have this one. The Santa Fe has the CarPlay kind of screen. We've seen this, like the icons and things. Her car does not. I don't miss that. I don't know. I don't know. I like the Google Maps. I don't have the same Google Map kind of access I do in newer vehicles, but it's just an interesting argument right now. Not argument, differently. Interesting discussion right now. Just a little bit different.
I don't know that the screen size matters. I feel like the design and how the screen is incorporated is a little bit more important. I was doing some articles last month on like older models and, like older Jaguars, older Mercedes vehicles. And you go back and even though like everything is very high-end luxury, like some of those old screens are like this big and they're like, then they have all these like buttons, like a keypad at the side. And I'm like, oh, what were they thinking? This looks awful.
I know it always, there was not always, but there's interesting discussions. So like, I remember we were talking about push button start and key ignitions. Like you talked about earlier, we were discussing on this forum. Remember when push button start came out, people were like so mad against, they were so anti it because all your safety systems are attached to it. It could go bad and they're going to replace all this stuff and yada, yada. And I'm like, And now it's like you look at vehicles with a physical key, and you're like, man, like Ford Ranger, like the XLT has a physical key, and people are like, gee, Ford was cheaping out on this. I'm like, well, you guys were arguing about this a couple years ago about how you want physical key, and now it's like, oh, you gotta have a digital key and push button, and I'm like, wow, the market changes, the mood of the market changes so quickly, I should say.
Yeah, it's funny.
Okay, so we got same powertrains, bottom line, same stuff. XRT some changes, grill kind of interior changes, tow hooks. Kind of, I think like, oh, this is that.
There's your wrench inspired
There's
wheel.
the wrench inspired wheel, yes. And so, I mean, yeah, I think that they've done the updates that the market has said they wanted in the interior, bolder design, and that's what, and tow hooks and things. That's what kind of the marketplace is at right now.
Yeah, and you know, Gene asks, how do I like the new steering wheel? I mean, I don't know. I would have to get behind the wheel. It looks bigger. I liked the old steering wheel. You know, this new steering wheel, I think, looks a little bit more plain. I liked the design of the old steering wheel. So I don't know. We'll have to see.